Okay. All right, guys, I am just going to check Rockfin really quick to make sure it's live on there. You guys know Rockfin is its own beast here. Go live. Woohoo! And just tweet it out. Just checking Twitter. Okay, cool. Hey guys, what's going on? It's so weird doing lives by myself because it's just me talking. It's weird not having someone else on the panel with me, but it is what it is. All right, welcome to Sabs podcast. I'm your host, Sabrina Salvati. So guys, I wanted to do just one more promo for the Medicare for All March because it is next week. Counting today, we only have 9 days left. So there's a couple of things I want to talk to you guys about because we have added new cities onto the march, but I want to give some shout outs to people in the chat really quick. Hello, Radical Leftist Agenda. Hi, Anthony. Kino. The Captain in Calculus. Hello. Hi, Dark Roasty Left. I like that name. That's funny. Meteor Dreams. Greetings. Greetings. Hello to you all. Less Bones. I don't know what that means, Less Bones. You'll have to tell me. Oh, you know what? I don't even know if my volume's turned up. Let me check something. Okay, yeah. Man, I'm such an amateur, man. Okay, cool. So guys, like a couple of you, if you've been with me like way back in the day, a couple of months ago, I had activists and organizers on my show to talk about the March for Medicare for All. That seemed like it was forever ago, but I checked today and that was actually in early May. And at that point, there were only 3 cities that were doing the march. It was Seattle, LA, and DC. Today, I'm here to tell you that there are now 45 cities participating in this march. Right? And I think somebody just DM'd me. Let me double check because I think Philly was added. Let me see. Doobie-doobie-doo. Yes. Yes. So Philly is on the list too. That's huge because I know they really wanted to get on the list. All right, cool. So back to what I was saying. Yeah, so there were a couple organizers that came on the show to talk about the march. And I'm just going to play a clip from that video really quick because, gosh, it seems like that was just so long ago. Share my screen. March for Medicare for All. Hopefully you guys can see. All right, so these were the organizers that came on back in May: Sharif, Andre, and Madeline. And I'm just going to play their intros about them and how they got involved in the march really quick, and then I'll show you some other things. So let me make this screen bigger. Cool. All right, we are live. Hey guys, welcome to Sabby Sabs podcast. I'm your host, Sabrina Salvati. I have a cool panel lined up this evening. Their names are Andre, Sharif, and Madeline, and they are organizers for the March for Medicare for All. Hey guys.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody.
Whoa, holy bangs, Batman. My bangs were huge. Why didn't anybody tell me? Why did you guys tell me? Oh my God. Good Lord. You could tell I was new at this. Did somebody say they can't hear? You can't hear the audio? You can't? Let me try it again. Let me stop share and then come back in. Share screen. All right, so why don't we just take turns and have everyone go around the panel and introduce themselves? So I guess we can start with Madeline.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Madeline. I'm a teacher in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but I decided to reach out to the movement for Medicare for All and organize a march here in Albuquerque. So that's me.
And Sharif?
Hey everybody. So yeah, my name is Sharif Snuggs, and I got into this fight for the March for Medicare for All way last year when Bernie Sanders said now is not the time for Medicare for All. So that really emboldened me to take some action. But not at first. I was like, well, maybe there might be a play here. Maybe there'll be something else that Bernie's probably cooking up. You know, let's wait and see. And then when Forced to Vote happened, I said, okay, this is going to be the time that maybe, you know, we're going to do something. This is what Bernie was talking about. You know, now is at the time, but maybe this is the time we're going to do it. And then that didn't happen. And I said, okay, this is not going to work. So I have to do something. So Ricky Rance, a friend of mine from here and also in New York, I talked to him about let's do something, let's do a march, and then it snowballed into what we are right now, which is like a growing big movement where a bunch of us across the country are now coming together to do this march, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, guys. So keep in mind, when they came on to my show back in May, there were only 3 marches. It was just DC, Seattle, and LA. So that's how far we've come. Awesome. And Andre?
Hello, everyone. My name is Andre. I worked on both Bernie Sanders campaigns, and between them, I really wanted to find something that I could work on that was sort of like what Bernie Sanders was talking about, but closer to home. So I got in touch with an organization called Whole Washington that was basically trying to pass a statewide version of Medicare for All in my home state, which I thought was super exciting. So I've been organizing with them ever since. And in 2020, I was a Bernie Sanders delegate at the national convention, and we were part of a coordinated action to vote no on the party platform because it didn't include Medicare for All. And really, in the years that I've been working on it, I've really seen the movement grow and have multiple really big moments. And I can tell you that right now we're having the biggest moment since I got into it. So it's all really exciting. I'm really happy to talk about it today.
Awesome. So before we get into the logistics of the march and everything, for people who are not aware, can you explain, like, how did all this transpire? All right, I don't need to play any more from there because I can tell you this myself. All right, cool. I saw a comment in the chat that said, who was that? Oh, that was Les Bones again. Les Bones said, so glad Kyle talked about this event. Yeah, like we've been really trying to get like people with larger platforms to advertise this event because they can reach more people. So yeah, that's like really awesome. I want to show you guys all the cities that are on the list now because things have changed over the past couple of days. So let me share my screen. I'm just so excited about this, how this has all like come together. Here are the marches. All right. Okay, guys, this is the full list right here. Albuquerque, Atlanta, Austin, Bemidji, what? Bemidji, Minnesota. I don't know what that is. Boston, which is where I am, Bridgeport, Chicago, Columbus, Corvallis, Oregon, Detroit, Fayetteville, Greensboro, North Carolina, Honolulu, Huntsville, Alabama, Irvine, California, the OC, Kansas City, Las Vegas, Little Rock, LA, Louisville, Madison, Manchester, Medford, Milwaukee, Nashville, New York, Newark, New Jersey, Olympia, Omaha, Orlando, Phoenix, Pittsburgh, Portland, Oregon, and Portland, Maine, Reno, Nevada, Rochester, New York, Salida, Colorado, Salt Lake City, San Diego, San Francisco, Seattle, Silva, North Carolina, Tallahassee, Tampa, DC, Wheat Ridge, Colorado. And I just found out literally a couple of minutes ago that now Philly is also on that list. And that is huge because Philly is like huge. So that was a huge grab that we got on this list. So a couple of things I want to address. I know that there's been like some, I don't know if you want to call them trolls, naysayers, you can come up with your own word, that have really come out against some of these marches. Some people have been trolling us, the activists, organizers, speakers. It is what it is. And what I want to tell you guys is that with any type of movement that you're trying to do, you're always going to have people like that. There's always going to be infiltrators, but you cannot let that distract you from the movement and the goal that you're trying to accomplish. So it's unfortunate that that has happened. And I know some people have been personally attacked because of it, but we just got to keep on pushing through. We have a couple of days left till this March. It's July 24th. And we have to focus on the end goal here. We cannot focus on the people who are not going to, I guess, be supportive, right? Cat83 just said, what is wrong with this thing? Hold on. Okay. Sorry, the comments got stuck. Cat83 just said, I guess Humanist Report promoted it by wearing a shirt of the march on his social media. Joy retweeted Mike's tweet from Humanist Report. Okay, awesome. Yeah, the more people we have promote this, the better. Going through the list. Dark Roast Lefty said just signed up for Irvine. Yes. Okay. Great reminder, guys. Make sure that you actually do sign up for it if you want to go to the march, just because it helps us keep up with like the numbers and the amount of people that is going to come. Because I know some people told me they're coming, but they didn't actually sign up. So make sure that you sign up. I want to tell you guys about some of the speakers because this is huge. So for the DC March, share my screen. Just in case you guys don't know, for the DC March, for speakers, there's Marianne Williamson, Reverend Annie Chambers. She was a former Black Panther. Paula Jean Swearigan, which actually recently today just came out with a statement that she's leaving the West Virginia Democratic Party. Kudos to her. Lee Camp, Dr. Margaret Flowers, Dr. Joe Jarvis, Dr. Valerie McRae Scott. Oh, I think that was a whole word there. Yeah, it was. Afeni, who is a part of FHL with me. So she was on my show recently. We did a live stream talking about liberals versus leftists. So she's also going to be speaking at the march. You guys, if you have never heard Afeni speak and you're going to the DC March, you are going to be in for a treat. She is a phenomenal speaker and an excellent activist. Jeff Genter, Cheryl Van Epps, and Joe Nice. And Savage Joy is going to be the MC for the DC March. So if you're going to that one is going to be lit, like for real. It'll also be toasty. Make sure you bring a lot of water, you guys, for yourself. Joe said, change needed can only come from the ground up, not from the top down, and certainly not from the left or the right. Zen's book, History of the United States, explains all of this. Be the change. Thanks so much, Joe. Yes, that is important to know. Okay, I see some people saying they're going to the DC March. Awesome. So the fact that there's 45 cities are going to be marching across the country the same day, the same time, if mainstream media does not cover this, there is something seriously wrong with them. I'll be shocked. I'm gonna look for it, But I'll be shocked if this does not pop up on mainstream media at all. Like if it doesn't, they're just trying to flat out ignore us. But we have to continue with the goal that we have set. Someone was asking before, how did this all start? So I first heard about all of this before the marches. It was through Whole Washington. So Laura Felding was working with Whole Washington, trying to get Medicare for All for people in Washington state. That's how I first heard about it. It was a couple months ago. And then I had her on and she talked about that. And then as time went by, activists and organizers like Savage Joy and Sharif, all across the country started to get together basically virtually and said, why don't we organize something? And like I said, in the beginning, it was just DC, Seattle, and LA. And then as time went by, all these other cities started to add themselves as well. So I just want to give a big round of applause for the activists and organizers, because we all don't live in the same state. We're not even in the same time zone, a lot of us. And the fact that we were able to accomplish this during COVID, during all of that, is phenomenal, especially in the short time span. So a huge applause to the activists and the organizers, because I don't think they're getting enough credit that they deserve. Like I said, there's been a lot of people trolling, but my thing is this: if you are sitting on the couch and you're not trying to do any type of activism or organizing to help get people Medicare in this country, to get people healthcare in this country, and you're just going to troll people that are actively like, we're working our butts off to try to make this happen, then shame on you, because it's really easy to sit back and criticize people when you're the one sitting on the couch and you're not doing a damn thing. I said my piece on that. Over to the chart. Don't tell the house slaves. That name said they can't ignore us damaging their profits. That's true. So guys, I'm going to be the MC for the march in Boston. And I want to give a shout out to Kyle Davis, because he organized this march here. I was with him last weekend passing out flyers in Boston. And it was really weird to be back on public transportation again, because I haven't done it since COVID. But it was all for a good cause. So I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about these marches, you guys. Yes, I'm glad you brought this up. Abhishek, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. AOC is very sus, doing the canvassing with Nina Turner on the day of the march. So that is something I was going to bring up. It was brought to my attention last night that apparently AOC and Nina Turner are doing a canvassing event the same day as the marches. I don't know if it was purposely intentional, but I got to side eye it. You know what I mean? I just find it strange that out of all the days, it just happened to be the same day that people are going to be marching for Medicare for all across this country. And then I throw this back into their corner, right? Because AOC ran on Medicare for all. We need healthcare for everybody. Nina Turner's been saying we need healthcare for everybody. Why aren't they at these marches instead that day? Why? Like, really? Anybody got a response to that? Don't tell the house slaves. Can we co-opt their canvassing? You didn't hear that from me. That everyone is free to do what they think is going to work. ABBA for Life says AOC opposes Medicare for all. We need to tell the truth. They are lying. And I guess she's changed her mind on a lot of things, right? Guys, seriously, like, if you have the time, pick up the phone, call your senators, your congressmen and women, and tell them about this march and ask them to come. Because I can tell you here in Boston, there's a young woman named Sonia, and she is running for governor of Massachusetts. I hope that she wins. But she is going to be speaking at the march. There are several people that are running for office that are going to be speaking at these marches across the country. So I just don't understand why they can't come to this. This is like force the vote all over again, man. Like, I really just, how can you just be so, like, tell me, guys, am I being too harsh? Am I being too harsh? You planned it on the same day? Like, really? I don't know. I just can't, man. I can't with these people, man. I have no patience for a lot of these people that ran on these issues and now are being silent. I have no patience for it. Robin said AOC or Nina could just call in from canvassing to show support. The fact they won't is telling. I mean, that's a good point. We can't let this no patience, Alex. Exactly. I just can't, man. Ashley said they knew. I don't buy for a second. They didn't know. Like, don't you know, it's like, what kind of like Twilight Zone BS is this? Like, really, out of all the days, and I've told you guys before how I feel about electoral politics. I do not like have a lot of faith in electoral politics after everything I've seen with the squad and how the DNC did like Bernie and this. I've just been disappointed. I've been disappointed since Obama. So if I come across as kind of frustrated, it's because I really am. It's been a long time this stuff has been going on, and I just don't understand how they can pretend not to see it again, just like they pretend not to see it during Force the Vote. And they were invited to that. And not one person, not one of them could come, not one. So you guys, all I'm going to tell you is just remember this. This is why I keep telling people, like, I don't feel like electoral politics is the only way right now. I would rather take that money that I donated to Bernie, that I donated to people on the squad. I wish I could get that money back, like a refund, get that money back and donate that same money to mutual aid groups in Boston. That's what I wish I could do, you know? So I can't. Christian said they're gaslighting with fireworks now. Exactly. Dark Roasty Left said refund. LOL, you're telling me. I'm telling you, man. Megan, hello. You are new. I'm new to your channel and just signed up for the march about a week and a half ago because I saw it on the Humanist Report, but I don't understand why it's not on other progressive independent media. So let's talk about that. You bring up a good point, Megan. Why do you guys think that is? I mean, I have my opinion, but why do you guys think that is? I'm looking in the chat. So I'll tell you my opinion. I think sometimes some people don't want to promote these types of things if they're not paid to do so. Sometimes it's a money issue. And then sometimes some people may not want to do it because they don't feel like it's going to give them views. Just the reality. And then there are those that don't want to do it because it wasn't their idea. You have people like that too. Or they're not going to do it because their friends aren't doing it. You have to learn how to weed out the people who are serious about actually getting these things accomplished and the people who just talk about it because it's popular and trending at that time. Because for me, whether I get like 50 views, 100 views, the important thing is that I get the message across and I'm trying to get people to come out and support these things. That's what matters most to me, to get these things accomplished in this country. And if that means we have to do it without politicians, which I suggest that we do, we have to do it with the people. Some people don't want to do that. Some people still want to rely on doing things through the Democratic Party. I don't, as you heard of this morning, Paula Jean Swearengin no longer with the West Virginia Democratic Party. And I completely understand why. I just, fool me once, fool me twice, I'm out. I am out. ABBA for life. Jimmy Dore sent me. Hello, ABBA for life. Welcome. Speaking of Jimmy Dore did endorse the Medicare for All marches. So I was very appreciative that he did that. He did that also during my interview with him. So that was awesome. Yeah, Colin said Heartland's Media mentioned it, and even Kyle has mentioned it. Yeah, I think they're referring. I think I know who they're talking about. But yeah, that's right, Colin. JB, because some don't want to promote it because they don't have a sense of urgency. Okay, so that's another thing, right? When Afeni was on a couple nights ago, we were talking about the difference between liberals and leftists. And one of the things that we found was that for the elite liberals, they may agree with these issues that everyone should have health care, but they may not be willing to fight for it like we are because it's not a sense of urgency for them. They're covered health insurance wise, or they're wealthy enough to take care of expensive medical bills. So I'm telling you guys, this is how you can weed out the real people and the fakes. The people who are like have been preaching to you for years. We need Medicare for all. We need Medicare for all. And if those people are not even trying to get involved, and if you can't physically go out and march, I understand that too, but there's going to be virtual march as well. Or you can promote it like on your show. If they're not trying to do at least one of those three things, they are deeply unserious people. This is how you realize who the real people and the fake people are. I'm just telling you from experience. Jen W, TYT is that one. That's a good question. Has anybody seen TYT promote these marches? Anybody? Let me look down. I don't watch them, so I got to find out about TYT from other people because I had to stop watching them a year ago. Colin said TYT, Crystal, and Sager have not. Wow. That's unfortunate. TYT has millions of subscribers and they can't even promote the March for Medicare for All. Boy, I tell you. But maybe that's what happens when you have corporate donors. Mr. Red said TYT seriously, ha ha ha, they can care less. It's true, man. These people are like millionaires. They don't care about this shit. They just talk about it and pretend to care. Okay. So another thing that I wanted to tell you about the march, let me go back to the website. If you want to know if you can get merch, so some people have reached out and they were asking like, where can we get signs? If you want to carry signs for the march. So on their website, I'm sharing my screen. The shop. Yeah, so on the website, they have baseball caps, face masks, buttons, and signs. So this was the thing people were asking about. There's the banners that you can carry with multiple people, car door flags. There's a vinyl bumper sticker, and there's also t-shirts. So if you go to their website, I'm actually going to put this in the chat. I put the link in the chat, and that way you guys have access to that information and you have access to the website as well, because that's important to have. Is anybody in the comments going to be at the Boston March? Let me check and see. Lucky Burrito says, we need to call out everyone who says socialism is bad. Our police, public schools, government all get it and tell us we can't have it. That's a good point, Lucky Burrito. I like that name too. That is a really good point. We heard Joe Biden the other day, right? What did he say? He said, well, basically Cuba, and this is example that like communism doesn't work. And then he said like, not too sure about socialism either. You know what I wanted to say? Sometimes I wish I could be at these like press conferences so I can be that person that like raises their hand in the audience and is like, and capitalism doesn't work. I wish I could have been that person. They probably would have dragged me out though. I'm pretty sure if I said that. Okay, Robin, you're going to the Greensboro, North Carolina one. Awesome, cool. Robin, I went to high school in North Carolina. Dark roasty lefty, you won't be invited back. Sabrina, no, I won't be invited back. I will not. Okay, this is important. So Abhishek said Biden can enact Medicare for all right now using 1881A. Yes, in fact, I believe that's on the website. I will show you guys that. Because we're calling on like Joe Biden. Yes. I'm going to share this now. Because Joe Biden is also on this website. This is really going to, you know what, guys, like that DC march, because that's probably going to be one of the biggest ones. This is really going to put pressure on the Biden administration because you can't ignore it. It's right in your backyard, right? So it'll be interesting if they ask him any questions about this. So this is on the website about 1881A. So they were asking for a tweet storm on June 30th. It says, urge Biden to give us Medicare for all by using section 1881A of the Social Security Act. And so when people say that this is out of the president's hands, that it has to go through Congress and follow that path first, there are things that he can do. He's just not willing to do it. So here's an article here. I don't know about you guys, but I hate these ads, man. Okay. How Biden could give everyone Medicare on his own. This is important. Balls. Okay, sorry. The people of Libby, Montana, population 2006 to 8, share something in common with the rest of the developed world, but not their compatriots in the United States. They all have access to single-payer Medicare for all system. That's in Libby, Montana. I've never been to Montana. Have you guys? You guys ever see that movie Legends of the Fall? That was in Montana. Looks really pretty. All right, now, oh, it looks like I'm not sharing that screen. Hold on. Told you guys I'm so amateur. But I'm getting better. All right, so now you can see it. So yes, the people of Libby, Montana all have access to single payer Medicare for all system. As a part of the Affordable Care Act, the residents of Libby were exposed to hazardous airborne asbestos from a vermiculite mine owned by W.R. Grace Company. They were made eligible for Medicare for free at the discretion of the Social Security Administration and the Department of Health and Human Services. It was codified in Section 1881A of the Social Security Act. The language of the statute refers to any individual subject to an environmental exposure, though it was well understood at the time that this was about Libby. So I'm not going to read the whole article, but I'm going to put the link for you in the chat. I don't want to bore you guys with long articles, but So there's the link to that article in the event you guys want to read the rest of that. And so to go back to what I was saying earlier, essentially, whole Washington was the first to make waves about this. They were trying to get, universal health care for everyone in Washington state on the state level, which actually might be our best shot. So I can tell you here in Massachusetts, there is a bill for Medicare for All sitting in the state house, and it's not even being looked at. It's just sitting there. That's why these marches are important. We have to put pressure on them, you guys. We can't just sit back with our hands on our butts, right? We got someone from Melbourne. Hello there. Hi, Harry. We need some 1881A signs at the march. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Don't have those on the website, but if you guys could make poster boards with that, that would be really good too, especially if media's there and they're going to ask you, what does that mean? And then we can explain that, what Joe Biden could do. Dark Roast Lefty said, look at Montana being progressive than the rest of us. 911, emergency responders, COVID infected. Just imagine that. There you go. We have red states out lefting us, huh? That's what's happening. Sabby, I want to be in Boston. When is it? Oh, yes. So all of the marches are July 24th. Hold on. Let me make sure. Yeah, July 24th. And let me put the link in for the Boston March too. So they're all the same day marching across this country. Go to Boston. All right. I'm going to put the link in the chat for the Boston one. Uh-oh. I think I just missed a super chat. Let me go back up. Hello, Jackie. Thanks so much for the super chat. I work at the hospital in Salem, Oregon, and I'm so tired of watching cancer patients argue with insurance companies over coverage from their hospital beds. Wow. So let me tell you guys why Medicare for All is so important to me, because I don't think I ever talked about this, but back in the day when I graduated from undergrad, there weren't many job opportunities available. The economy was like crap, kind of like now. So here I am again. But there weren't many companies that were hiring in the arts and media, journalism, that kind of stuff. And there weren't people hiring much in education either. And those were my backgrounds. So healthcare was hiring. So the first job that I got out of college was at a skilled nursing facility. And I was actually accounts receivable, accounts payable coordinator, basically. My job mainly was to make sure that the insurance companies paid what they were supposed to pay and that the patients paid what they were supposed to pay. And this was when I found out that insurance companies were just basically ripping people off. This was my first introduction to how messed up the healthcare system is in this country. And I would see insurance companies like Blue Cross Blue Shield tell patients that they would be covered after they retired from their jobs. Say you worked for the phone company your whole life, right? That they would be covered, only to find out that they would only cover certain things and certain illnesses. So for example, I'll tell you one that was often not covered was dementia. It's a shame, isn't it? That was one that they didn't want to pay for. And so I would see all of these people. I can't get into too much detail because there's personal stuff with this as well. But I would see all of these like elderly people who had worked like for the phone company like 20, 30 years, most of their adult life, retired from those companies, and thought that they would be, all set after they retired, only to find out once they got sick or once they, had something like dementia, that their health insurance company was not really going to cover part of that. Then they have to dip into their savings, or they have to reach out to their children. And some of their children don't really want to be associated with them now that they're older. I've seen that happen too. And what people may not realize is that in order for them to get help from the state, to get help from Medicaid, you have to exhaust all of your funds. So imagine being told you have to spend all of what you have in your savings. You have to spend all of what you have in your checking account before Medicaid is going to even like contribute. Now you're just broke. Now you're broke and you're sick. But that was the only way that Medicaid was going to jump in and help. That was when I really started to feel very frustrated with the healthcare system, very frustrated with insurance companies. And I didn't see that before in my life because my parents were military and we had TRICARE. And for those who don't know, TRICARE pays for everything. I didn't even know what a copay was until I was off of my parents' insurance. I know it's silly, right? But I didn't know. I was like, what is it? I go to the doctor. They're like, this is your copay. And I was like, I got to pay. I'm like, pay for what? So it was eye-opening to me. And I just realized like how corrupt the insurance companies were. And anytime I'm seeing people get medical bills where the insurance company has already paid their portion and the patient is still left with thousands of dollars to pay on that medical bill, that is a corrupt system that we have in this country. Somebody should have dismantled it a long time ago. And the fact that the pharmaceutical companies basically run the insurance companies, that is why this continues to happen in this country. So Joe Biden could make Medicare for all happen for everyone in this country. But because Joe Biden's donors consist of pharma companies, he's not going to do that. And this is what I was trying to tell people about Joe Biden when he was running. When it was just him and Trump, and he said that I'm going to do, yes, we need $15 minimum wage. He told Black students that if they went to HBCUs, their debt would be forgiven. Joe Biden just lied, which isn't surprising to me. And so if somebody comes to you and tells you that you need to give Joe Biden more time, you can use the same line that I always use, which is Joe Biden's been a politician for over 40 years. He doesn't need any more time. It just is what it is. Deborah Logan, my dad didn't go to the VA because it was the same. Not medical debt, but just poor. They wanted him to sell our home for assistance. Yes, guys, feel free to put your stories in the chat. The VA is a hot mess. If you guys have never dealt with the VA, you don't understand like how long it takes for them to actually process paperwork. Like my dad had to wait over a year for them to do what they were supposed to do. That's how slow the VA is. That's the government. They just really don't do what they're supposed to do. My dad like fought for this country. And this is how they treat you after you're done. This is what they do. I missed another super chat. Oh, shoot balls. Jill, hang on, Jill. This is what happens when I talk in the camera too much. I don't know how I missed this one. Shoot. Well, Jill, I'm going to read it out anyway. Mexico has universal health care and has for decades. When I lived there in 93 to 94, I paid $0 for hospital treatment. Also, my name brand pills were $1 a month over the counter versus $28. That's good to know. How many of you have dealt with medical debt with prescriptions? because I know people that have to take insulin. And this was another thing too that was really sad to see older people have to ration their insulin, which no one should have to do that. It's also dangerous because they couldn't afford to pay for it. I'm looking at some of the stories in the chat. Andrew, it's so hard to get mental health care as well because so many therapists / mental health providers are selective on which insurance. That's very true. That is one thing with whole Washington that for their plan that they're talking about for their state is that mental health care will be covered. And I think every insurance provider should cover mental health care, especially right now. You see the crisis that we're living in. The past year has been a hot mess. Like with COVID, with the protests, with George Floyd, Trump and his craziness, Biden and his delusions. Like, this is not a time where any insurance company should be just like, we're not going to pay for mental health. And I tell you guys, I work in education and I see the students and I can tell like this really took a toll on them this past year. Really took a toll on them. And everybody needs to have mental health care. Everybody, even if you think that you are fine, it is always good to talk to someone that is outside of your circle that can give you a different perspective. Sometimes it's good to just vent and let things out. Sorry, guys, trying to keep up with the chat here. Lucky Burrito said California is the 5th largest economy in the world, and look at what is happening there. Dude, I know so many people that have moved to California and have moved back home because they just couldn't afford it. They're just like, dude, gas is like $5. John Kemper, I'm a 10-year vet. They tell me I make too much. I make less than 80K, then they take 1/3 of that in taxes. This government sucks. I'm just trying to tell you guys, man, how they treat veterans in this country. Like I said, my dad had to go through a lot through the VA. These people, like, you go, you risk your life for them to fight for your country. And then when you get back, they treat you, they discard you. This is why you see a lot of times people are like, why are there so many homeless veterans? Because their country gave up on them. Because they went out to war. Because they went out to fight. And then they come back and they're having to deal with like PTSD. And then you got to go through the VA to see if you can go see like a psychiatrist, and they delay the paperwork, and or they just want to give you pills and just be like, deal with it. Like, that has to be a traumatic experience. You go through all that. I mean, my dad told me about the things that he saw when he was in the Middle East. So it takes a toll on you. And then to come back and have your country just basically be like, well, you're on your own. It's ridiculous. Actually going to be talking about that today at 4:00 on Fred Hampton Leftist Network. I'm going to be talking about the military recruitment process and how they target people that are in poverty, how they target people that are Black and brown and at underperforming schools. I'll be discussing that at 4:00 over at FHL. Do not join the Army. Lily Rice said in Canada, insulin in Canada is over the counter and 90% less in the US. You know what, Lily? I think I might just have to move to Canada. Not that I need insulin, but I've been to Canada multiple times. I've gone to Montreal. I've gone to Toronto. It's just so cold though, Lily. It's cold. This is cold in Boston too. But the cold that I felt in Canada was like a different type of cold. Jen W. My daughter went to college in the Netherlands, and it has opened my eyes so much. Her tuition as an international is still less than our state school. Food and housing is cheap. No car needed. Dude, the Netherlands is like awesome. If you guys get a chance to go to Europe, that is one of the places I think you should go to. And in reference to like the colleges, you know, Germany has, it's free, even for Americans. It's free. You know what I think too? Like, honestly, if things don't change, like within the time that I wanted to. If I ever have a kid, I'm actually going to encourage them to go to college overseas. Go to Germany. I would tell my dad, like, one of these days, like, why did you make us come back to this country? Stacy said, I'll pay more taxes for healthcare. That's right, Stacy. That's the right mindset. Phenomenal Mysticism said veterans are used as pawns for the US government's imperialistic schemes. Yeah, man. I mean, and people wonder, like, people have actually asked me before, like, why do so many people join the military? Well, yes, it's because they come at you with all these perks, right? Like you have, healthcare, you're covered for everything. TRICARE will pay for everything. You get to travel. You can have military housing. You don't even have to pay for your rent. You get the GI Bill. We can pay for your schooling. And you get to get out of poverty. So they have those selling points. And that's why a lot of people join. Ashley, also a friend of mine, single mom who has cancer, is cooking Mexican food and selling it to fundraise for her daughter's heart surgery. Wow. Wow. Do you guys notice like the increase of GoFundMe for like medical expenses? That's where we're at in this country. That's where we're at. Because we don't have health care for everyone. John Kemper said, I gave up when Obama let the banks take my home. I live in a converted van, right? Never joined that racist military. Yeah, man. That's another thing that's often not talked about is what happened with the 2008 housing crisis. The fact that some Democrats still applaud Obama for a job well done, it just drives me crazy. Like they specifically targeted Black elders' homes. How corrupt can you be, man? Harry said, in Australia, I pay $6.60 for almost all prescriptions. There are a few things not fully covered, but after I've paid 60 prescriptions in a calendar year, I pay $0 through the end of the year. Harry, I'm moving to Australia. I've changed countries like twice already. That's it just, oh my God, man. I'm not even going to tell you guys, like, have you guys ever had to pay for prescription medication and you did not have insurance? So like when I was in between jobs, I didn't have insurance, like in that in between part. I moved to Boston and lo and behold, I wasn't here maybe a month and I had a severe allergic reaction. Till this day, we still don't know what it really was that set me off, but it felt like I had difficulty breathing and went to the ER. One of the first things that they did was like, that's Benadryl or up, Benadryl and all that fun stuff. But they gave me a prescription for an EpiPen and I had never had one before. They showed me how to use it. But in the event that happened in the future, I could just use my EpiPen and then call 911 and then go to the ER. Went to get my EpiPen at the pharmacy. I didn't have insurance at that time. Like I was in between jobs. I didn't think it was going to be expensive. Did you guys know that an EpiPen without insurance is like $500? And you can only use it once. $500 for one shot. That's a life-saving prescription for a lot of people that have food allergies in this country. $500. Going back to the chat. Deborah, Yeoman, catch me on 90 Day Fiance, the other way for some healthcare. Oh my God, yes. Deborah, I love that show. I love it. Actually, it started to get kind of bad. I had to take a break from it because I was starting to talk about people on 90 Day Fiance like they were actually a part of my life, like they were like my friends. And so my husband would be like, wait, Are these like real people? Or are you talking about the show? I'm like, oh, I'm talking about the show. But it got to the point where they felt like they were a part of my family. Oh, John Kemper, I missed your super chat. John Kemper said, Sabby, FHL is the best indie show around. I remember laughing first time I saw TYT. I ran through them all until I found you. Call me Cuban Lefty here. Right on. All right. Thank you, John. Yeah, you guys, if you have not done so, definitely check out Fred Hampton Leftist. We're doing some really cool things over there. Microsoft Word technical support said Australia used to be pretty socialist before the concerted effort to shift it right. Our Medicare for All and the dole, basically universal income insurance, didn't come from nowhere. That's interesting. That's good to know. Lucky Burrito said, thank you for all you do. You are welcome. Oh, Jill, this is interesting. Oh, shoot, I missed it. There we go. I worked for the company that invented the EpiPen. Oh my God. The owner CEO would be mortified to see what's come of his invention in the hands of new owners. He was such a good man. Wow. Wow. Diane, I sent you a super chat earlier on Sabby because I love you. Oh, I love you too, Diane. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed, but like my show has started growing like quickly over the past 2 weeks. It's going to get to the point where I'm going to need to hire like a moderator or an assistant, just someone to manage the chat. Lucky Burrito also said EpiPens are not expensive to make either. I have one. There you go. ABCD, yeah. That is a funny name. Thanks for doing that session with the Finny the other day. Does she have her own channel? Yeah. So a Finny's show premieres tomorrow on FHL. In fact, let me check her time. I know a Finny's like awesome, right? Her show starts. Man, these ads. I can't click on one thing without getting an ad. Okay. Her show will be on Fred Hampton Leftist tomorrow. It's called Fact and Fire Podcast with the Finny, and that premieres at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Back to the comments. Oh, radical leftist agenda. Your show is growing because you are too likable. LOL. Oh, thank you. That's sweet. I don't know. I can be mean sometimes. Sometimes I can be usually about politics though. Social issues. Thanks for the super chat, Ashley. This is important. Food, not bombs. The group hosting the Milwaukee March is being targeted by the city, which is shutting down food pantries, community fridges throughout the city. What was I telling you guys at the beginning of the stream? There's always going to be these people that are going to try to stop us from doing what we want to do to try to accomplish our goal. That is heartbreaking. That is heartless. And that is so cruel. So what I recommend, I know for me, like for the march, I'm going to make sure I bring food. If you are allowed to march with book bags, I believe we are now in Boston. I have to double check because after the marathon, incident, I can't say the word on here, but after the marathon incident, they banned like backpacks here in public. So I'm going to double check that. But if I can take even like my little tiny book bag, I'm going to put food in my book bag with water bottles as well, because it's a shame you can't even like march for healthcare without people, the freaking city, like trying to stop you. Let's starve them. Let's take away their food and their water. See what happens in a capitalist society? Do you see what happens? Jill said, look up Dr. Stanley Sarnoff. There's an interview archived somewhere wherein he talked about how the auto injector came into being. I'll see if I can find it. Okay, yeah, let me know if you find that. James Root said, sounds like a classic move from Milwaukee. I've never even been to Milwaukee, you guys. You got to tell me what it's like. I've never been to Wisconsin. The only city in the Midwest I've been to is Chicago. John Kemper said, if I watch a Finny too much, I might get violent to people who treat others badly. That's funny. James Root, the most segregated place I've ever lived in. Oh, wow. I didn't know that about Milwaukee. Oh, Lily, thank you. That's really sweet. I love your dynamic and energy, Sabby. Oh. Oh, James said they banned book bags, but not coolers. Okay, that's good to note. I'm telling you guys, usually there's a way around this stuff, man. Ivory. Sabby, hope I'm responsible for your new subscribers in some measure. Been sharing your vids, your name as leftist to follow. I believe in you and your content is spot on and what we need to have. Thank you so much, Ivory. That is so sweet. Aww. Whatever man said, really, you can't say the B word. Yeah, so I said it in another video. I think I said it more than once in another video and it got flagged. Black Empire. I suggest everyone read Wendell Potter's books to see how the insurance companies propaganda us into believing our healthcare system is normal. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to pull that up. Wendell Potter. Because Black in the Empire, remind me, is this the guy? He's conservative, right? Is this the guy that's conservative, but he believes in Medicare for all? Or is that Dr. Joseph Jarvis? I think sometimes I get them confused. Don't tell them I said that, though. Let me see if someone put that in the... Oh my God, Diane. My daughter lives in Groveland, Massachusetts. She got $800 for child tax credit, but her mortgage just went up to $400. You guys see what I was see? This is the thing. Like when people got so excited about that child tax credit, for people like me, I was like, I don't have any kids. Like my husband and I were like, hey, what about the rest of us? Right. But friends of mine that do have kids, they were like excited and like, yeah, well, Joe Biden did such a good thing with that child tax credit. Do you see what Diane just said? Her daughter got the tax credit, but her mortgage went up $400. So at that point, you didn't really get much. They always find a way to get the money back. That's how corrupt this country is. Les Bones said, get bangs like Sabs. Oh my gosh, you guys. I need to go back to I need to go to my hairstylist because she's the only one that don't cut your own bangs. Okay. Just don't. I've been doing it for a long time. And when I go back to see my hairstylist, she's going to be like, I see you cut your bangs again. I try. It doesn't work. Sabby, I like the shows of yours I saw from the beginning, but when I saw your response to Kyle's Hunter Biden video, I decided that I will defend you to the death. Oh, that's really sweet, Matt. Yeah, man. Look, I can't stand for the okie doke. Like, I'm not just going to agree with someone just because they have a large platform, even if that's someone I used to watch and I used to like have a lot of respect for. I feel that if you're throwing around things that are irresponsible, you're throwing around language and rhetoric that is just not cool and not acceptable, I'm going to call you out on it. I don't care who you are. Do you think they are going to send the goons out for us again on the 24th? I got hurt last time I was at a BLM, Black Lives Matter in Chicago. That's a good question. I recommend that everyone those of us that are going out for the march, just please be careful. Hopefully it will not get to that extent. Hopefully these will be, peaceful like marches, and police officers will not misbehave. Can't guarantee it. This is America, but hopefully it will not get to that point. But you guys, yeah, definitely please be careful. Look out for each other. Okay, thank you. Black in the Empire. Potter is the guy that was an insurance exec that made up some of the propaganda. Like, you have to wait months to see a doctor in Canada, then started exposing the industry. That's right. Okay. I remember now. And Dr. Joseph Jarvis is the one that is conservative. And I believe his book is The Purple World. Let me look that up. The Purple World, I think, is the name of it. Dr. Joseph Jarvis. Because I've seen this guy on everything. I think he follows me on Twitter. I should reach out. Why haven't I done that? Just again, me just being slow with stuff. Yeah. So, okay, Dr. Joseph Jarvis wrote The Purple World. That was the book that I was told I need to read that. But he's going to be speaking at the DC March. Harry said, I think that man mentioned earlier used to be a farm insurance CEO who found his soul from camp. Yep, that's right. Right. Lucky Burrito said, if you need flyers design, my partner made FNB1. That is good to know. Colin said, this country is acting like it's brand new to giving child tax credits when other countries offer that benefit for decades. Dude, guys, speaking of which, did you guys know, like, when I interviewed Professor Richard Wolff, did you guys know that in France, Professor Richard Wolff said when a woman has a baby, like, just wait for this one. When a woman has a baby, she's assigned a social worker that comes to the house and helps her do the things around the house, like the laundry and the cleaning and the cooking, and it's for free. It's like having your own, like, personal assistant. Could you imagine if we had that in this country? Because I don't know how a lot of people do it, like working full time, long commutes, picking up their kids from daycare and bringing them back home. And then some of my coworkers said, if you're late, daycare charges you a fee if you show up like even 5 minutes late. Man, this just goes to show you how times have changed, because my mom was able to stay home with me until I went to kindergarten and my dad worked. My generation, not that way. Both of us have to work. James Root said, yes, it's mandatory by law in France. Yo, man. You know what? I think after this stream, because my dad is off today, I'm going to call my dad and ask him, why did you bring us back to the States? Why didn't you just keep us in Germany? Let's see. I think Wendell Potter was the insider in the insurance company. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Lily. I watched your interview with Professor Wolf and saved it. Diane said, I'm so afraid change won't come for my grandkids. Trying to convince other boomers of this is so frustrating. Yeah. I'm telling you guys, man, Dr. Wolf basically was telling me that, like, the best days of capitalism are behind us now. So I just wish, like, our politicians would be honest with us about that and stop trying to make people think that we're on the up and coming when we're not. It is very obvious that the US economy it's for the birds, man. It's not anything to write home about. My daughter isn't even a citizen of NL and receives an allowance for rent. Wow. James Root. What do you think of our continued ignorance of climate change? Have you seen what's happened to the Colorado River? I've not seen what's happened to the Colorado River. But in reference to climate change, I think people really need to wake up, because anytime I have friends that live in Portland, Oregon, and they're like texting me and saying like, dude, it's like triple digits here, and they don't get that kind of weather. They didn't have AC either because they don't get that kind of weather. And you're seeing triple digits in like Canada. Everybody needs to wake up, man. Everybody needs to wake up. Water is rising. I notice it when I go to the beach. I'm a big beach bum. So like I noticed that when I go to the beach, it's like now, used to be years ago, I go to the beach right after lunch usually. And I had a couple of hours before I had to move like my beach towel before the water starts to come in. Now I notice when I go to the beach, I don't have that same amount allotted time. Like the water is coming in faster. Pay attention to that. Next time you go to the beach, pay attention to that. I want to make sure it's not just me. But something that you guys should watch if you're into sci-fi, there's this show called The Expanse. And it's a futuristic show that basically shows what happens because we didn't take care of the Earth. So you now have people living on Mars, you have people living on the asteroid belt, and there's only a few people left on Earth. But what's funny about that show is that on the asteroid belt, all the people that live there have a shorter life expectancy. They're not as healthy, but they have all the resources. And Mars and Earth drain their resources. That's where they get the water from. That's where they get, the oxygen from. Does that sound familiar to you? Because I can think of countries that we have here, where they have these resources and the United States takes those resources, but the people who live in the countries with the resources are poor and have a shorter life expectancy. So it's a hot mess. Really good show. Oh, I lost that thing. Oh, Valerie. Expanse is the bomb diggity. Okay, so Valerie watches The Expanse. It's a really good show, you guys, if you like sci-fi, because I love sci-fi. So phenomenal mysticism. Sabby, is your husband Italian? Why don't you try to move to Italy and become an EU citizen? Then maybe you can travel to France. That's funny. Yeah, my husband is Italian, but he's American. So we're both American. So here we are. Another person, Roxanne, The Expanse. All right, I got some Expanse fans in here. Oh my God, there's so many comments. Yeah, whatever, man. Definitely check it out. I think you'll like it. The first 2 episodes start off kind of slow, just to give you a heads up, but it starts to speed up after that. Lily's another one, The Expanse. Yeah, man. Harry C. Smith. In Estonia, both parents get 15 months parental leave, fully paid. In Russia, maternity is 3 years. 3 years, you guys? Could you imagine that? At 80% pay plus job protection in Denmark, McDonald's workers get $22 an hour. 4 weeks paid holiday, demand more. He's right. That's another thing that Dr. Wolf said. He was like, the American people should be even more upset than we are, and we should be fighting harder. And when I talk to people I know that live in other countries, they're just like, why aren't you guys fighting this? All right, Jeremy, going to my local M4 march, got to show support. Yay. All right. Radical leftist agenda. The US government makes it look bad. Yeah. Yeah. Gen W in Sweden, they pay kids to go to college. Well, there you go. There you go. All right, guys, I'm going to have to hop off because I have to do another live stream on FHL, and I'm going to try to eat a little snack before then. Oh, guys, I'm going to see Black Widow tonight. So if you've seen it, let me know if you like it or not. I'm really excited, you guys. I've been waiting to see this movie. Like, it was supposed to come out last year, and then they were like, put it on hold. And now I'm like, no, I finally get to go see it. And I haven't been to the movie theaters since like COVID started. So I'm like, I'm super excited. But yes, definitely get out for the Marches for Medicare for All. I'm going to put the link in the chat one more time so everybody can have access to that. Oh, thanks so much, you guys. See you at the FHL stream. Yes, that won't start at 4:00. I'm talking about military recruitment and poverty. So if you are interested in how the military seeks out people to recruit, you definitely don't want to miss that. Marianne Williamson, Harry, you said Marianne Williamson is live right now? Oh, dang. Too many shows at one time. Oh, I wish I could see that too. Thanks so much, guys. Yeah, definitely get out in March if you can, guys. If you cannot, there's going to be a virtual one too. And if you don't have time to do the virtual, like definitely share that link with your friends, your family members, as many people as possible that you can. Someone asked me if I have a Discord. I do not have a Discord yet. I am working on that. I'm actually going to be setting up memberships for my YouTube channel, hopefully next week, and the Discord will be a part of the membership. So that'll be helpful for it. That way everybody who's like a member can converse with each other on Discord and stuff. It helps bring people together. Have fun at the movie. Thanks so much. I'm excited. Yes, guys. So don't forget, July 24th, March for Medicare for All. Links in the chat, and I am out. Peace.